Okay, today we are talking about Crossflow water cooling towers. Okay, so here's a basic representation of a Crossflow water cooling tower. As its name implies, the air gets introduced or sucked into the water cooling tower from the sides. So the air crosses over the flow of water that is trickling down through the water cooling tower from the spray nozzles on the top of the cooling tower. So in this image, you can see you got with the grill removed on the side, you can see you got the fill media. You can see the spray nozzles that spray the hot water or warm water down through the fill media. And as the air gets blown or sucked through the fill media, there's some evaporation that takes place and heat energy gets transferred from the hot water to the air. That hot air goes out the top of the water cooling tower, and you get cool water down in the basin of the water cooling tower that then gets pumped out to the end users, whether that's a chiller or industrial process of some kind. You also note a second blue pipe in this graphical representation. That second blue pipe is an overflow pipe. That small little pipe on the other side, and you see that brass float, that is your freshwater makeup valve. So as water gets evaporated out of the water cooling tower, that freshwater makeup valve maintains a level in the basin. And then, of course, you have your electric motor on top that spins that fan that sucks air in the sides of the cooling tower and up through the tower and discharges the hot air out the top once it's exchanged, heat energy with the warm water that's come in to the cooling tower. And this one just happens to have a dual hot water inlet on top. That's why you see two red pipes. So you got spray nozzles on the left side, spray nozzles on the right side. And again, that water trickles down through the fill media. So here's a real world example of how this would work. You have a cooling tower that has cool water being pumped to the heat exchanger. The heat exchanger is also connected to the chiller. The chiller has a water-cooled condenser and another separate pump that circulates the water from the condenser to the heat exchanger. So that warm water or hot water from that condenser goes to the heat exchanger, where it gives off its heat energy to the cold water coming into the heat exchanger from the water cooling tower. That warm water then flows back to the water cooling tower to be cooled off again. So you have two completely separate, isolated bodies of water that are constantly circulating water through that heat exchanger, giving off heat, right, from the chiller to the heat exchanger, and then that heat energy gets dissipated at the water cooling tower. I hope that makes sense. So make sure the intake grills on your water cooling tower does not get plugged with debris. You want to check the water pH, alkalinity, turbidity, hardness. So water quality and water testing is important with a water cooling tower. If you live in a place where it gets below freezing in the wintertime, you may need to winterize the water cooling tower or add a environmentally friendly antifreeze that's designed for water cooling towers. You also might need to wrap some heat tape around your piping or a warming jacket around the water cooling tower. So again, don't overlook your maintenance on your water cooling towers. I want to tell you about a practical facilities maintenance handbook available now on Amazon in ebook and paperback format. It has common facilities documents, signage, and tags, as well as resource and reference material and shop equipment drawings that you can use for your facility to fabricate your own shop equipment. The link for this book is in the video description below. If you need hats, shirts, mugs, or weather-resistant stickers for your facility, there is a link in the video description below for the products that you see here. I hope this information helps you. Please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment, and thanks for watching.